Hi guys, we're going to give everybody a minute to get on. We're coming at you from a different angle tonight. You can truly see the mess that is my sewing room when I've been working in it all day. Hold on, I'm sitting here looking. I'm a chapstick addict, so I'm going to wait for everybody to find us. Have lots to talk about. I've been busy in here today, getting lots done. So that's been great. Hi, Kim. Hello, Jackie. I'm just going to go through and shut down some of my windows here. We're coming at you, hi, Crystal, from a different angle. Tonight, you can see behind me the true mess that is my sewing room. Usually the camera is coming from the other angle, so you don't get to, hi Melody, you don't get to see. Okay, Jackie, you study away. We're just going to talk sewing, okay? Matt is in the living room relaxing. He had a really busy, a good busy day outside on the property today. Hi, Deb. So I decided to come in here and do this from a different angle. So I've been working on lots of things. I finished a ton. You can see it that side. See these things right here? Those are a bunch of Halloween table toppers that are going to go in our show at the Purple Painted Lady next year. I just have to get them quilted. I have a lot in the works for Christmas. A lot in the works, period, altogether. So I worked on today also quilting our Christmas sew-along. So this is my job. You can see the meander. It's not perfect, but it's good. Hi, Debbie. Other Debbie. So mine is all quilted. I showed you last week the essentials of quilting it, and I'm here tonight to answer questions. So if you're having problems, if you're having issues with your machine, anything I can help with, that's what I'm here for. Next week, we are going to be binding. So for those of you that got the kit from me, you'll cut your stripes up in 2.5-inch strips, and we will bind it next week. Anybody else having issues with quilting? I quilted this piece last week while we were on. Of course, I haven't trimmed it and bound it yet. Everything's backwards going from this direction. So as you can see, nothing's perfect. So when we do the meander, which is what that quilting stitch is, I'll tell you what we're not worried about. We're not worried about where we're going with that line. I try to think about puzzle pieces when I do the meander because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like puzzle pieces from when I used to help my grandmother do puzzles. So that's what it looks like to me, and that's what I try to make it look like. But I don't worry about it so much. A couple tips and tricks as I was thinking about it today as I was doing it, because honestly, most of my quilting that I do on my long arm setup downstairs. Doing it on the sit-down machine today gave me a different perspective. That's where I started. I do enjoy sit-down quilting, but not as much as my long arm. I think the long arm for me gives me more freedom. But things to think about. So if you feel like as you're moving your piece around and you're quilting, hi Mom, and you feel like you're losing yourself in space or time, or your lines are jerky, not as rounded as you would like, my advice is to go faster. So a lot of people are going to say, no, you should not go faster. You should, really. If you go faster, your brain doesn't have time to think about it. I'm just going to you're going to keep seeing me look down and scroll through comments to make sure I'm answering any questions. If you go faster, you don't have to think about it as much, you know. You don't have to worry so much about where things are going. Hi, Cindy. And sorry, I have threads all over me. I see them now while I'm in the camera. That's how you know I've been sewing all afternoon. Anyway, yeah, definitely go faster. If you feel like your lines aren't as curved or your stitching's not turning out the way you would like it to turn out, go faster. The other thing is to stay relaxed. So I always know when I'm not relaxed when I'm quilting because my shoulders hurt right here in the center. And that's because I'm sitting here. Hi, Karen. I'm all tensed up quilting. You have to relax and just let your arms go. And we talked last week about having your hands in the radius that you're quilting so that you have control. If you've got your hands over here, but you're quilting, you know, maybe one hand here, and you're quilting somewhere in the middle, that's not controlled. So you need your hands like in the area that you're quilting. So that's another tip. Things like if your thread's breaking a lot, if it's the top thread, it's usually one of two things. Either the needle needs to be changed because as we sew with a sewing needle, it develops burrs in the eye where the thread goes, and eventually there's part that will wear away and it actually breaks thread. So change your needle. The other thing, if you're getting your thread breaking a lot, is to unthread the machine and rethread the machine. It seems silly, but it really does work. I've had so many problems with the machine, long arm and sit down, with the thread continually breaking. Cannot figure it out. I've changed the needle, I've adjusted tension, everything looks good, the stitches look good, but the thread keeps breaking. So I unthread the machine completely, take the bobbin out, take the spool off, rethread the whole thing, and it works, and then the thread doesn't break. And I can't explain it, but it happens a lot. Relax is the most important advice I can give you. I remember being very afraid to start my first quilt, and I think I did, if I remember right, maybe one practice sandwich where I took an old sheet and cut it up and made one practice sandwich about, I don't know, maybe 15 inches by 15 inches. And I did a little meandering stuff on that. And then I went right onto a quilt. And actually, I went right